President-elect Trump's new border czar says Chicago will be ground zero for mass deportation efforts that will begin right here. And he had some harsh words for Mayor Johnson and Governor Pritzker. Tom Homan, Trump's handpicked border czar, was in Chicago for a GOP holiday party. He called on Pritzker and Mayor Johnson to come to the table and not impede the administration's efforts. But he had harsh words, including saying Chicago is in trouble, quote, because your mayor sucks and your governor sucks.
He does not have the authority to do the things that he's talked about. Being a border czar is not an official position.
The city of Chicago says as of Wednesday, the total people seeking asylum and arriving via buses and airplane from Texas is just over 51,000. Since August of 2020, there have been 946 buses dropping off migrants. More than 17,000 have been resettled, and more than 7,000 have been reunited with sponsors. Right now, more than 2,600 are in Chicago shelters.
Mayor Brandon Johnson is not in the best moods as border czar Tom Homan. He's making himself perfectly clear. He knows what the American people voted for. He knows what President-elect Donald Trump wants from him, and he's willing and able to work on these issues despite any opposition from these woke mayors and governors. What's shocking is that guys like Pritzker and Johnson are willing to sink with their own ship, even though other Democratic mayors are now welcoming the idea of removing illegal immigrants in their cities, especially those that continue to commit crimes. Many claim that this is common sense given that the term explains itself. An illegal immigrant already broke the law by entering the country illegally. If they truly want to enter the United States, they should go through the legal pathways that are available. Now, what's surprising is that even New York City Mayor Eric Adams is supportive of Tom Homan.
And see, you write different stories that distort what I've stated. So I'm not wasting my time. I'm being very clear. And I'm not going to spend hours answering your questions over and over again for you already to have your preconceived notions and your distorted views on what I have articulated. We're going to protect the rights of immigrants in the city that are hardworking, giving back to the city in a real way. We're not going to be a safe haven for those who commit repeated violent crimes against innocent migrants, immigrants, and longstanding New Yorkers. That was my conversation today with the border czar to figure out how do we go after those individuals who are repeatedly committing crimes in our city. We're going to tell those who are here, who are law-abiding, to continue to utilize the services that are open to the city, the services that they have a right to utilize, educating their children, health care, public protection, and the things that we have long been proudful in doing so. But we will not be a safe haven for those who commit violent acts. We don't do it for those who are citizens, and we're not going to do it for those who are undocumented. We made terrible mistakes in the past by preventing to keep our city safe from those who are committed repeated acts of violence, particularly these dangerous gangs that we have witnessed in our city. And we're not going to continue in that direction.
So Eric Adams has been very vocal as of late when it comes to this issue. Multiple video leaks have showed him talking about this crisis and how the city just can't sustain it any longer. Note that this clip came out even before Trump won as president. Watch.
And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian-speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City.
Coincidentally, it was around this time when Eric Adams was charged with bribery and campaign finance offenses. Could that be the reason why guys like Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker are now staying so quiet about deportations? Do they know that the deep state has some dirt on them too? Now, it's not just Eric Adams who's getting on board with Tom Homan. Reports now show that more and more meetings with Democratic mayors are being lined up. But here's Border Czar Tom Homan talking about his disappointment with Chicago and how Eric Adams is influencing more mayors to talk to him. Watch.
But when it comes to public safety threats, we should be on the same side. And that's why I get so angry. Just Chicago mayor, Governor Pritzker. And San Diego just passed the most damaging laws in San Diego that an illegal alien can get arrested for rape. And they're going to release him to the street rather than call ICE. So, and that's why I'm so angry, because I don't think it's it should be a partisan issue. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, when it comes to public safety, what elected mayor or elected governor doesn't want public safety threats on their communities? So that's what angers me. But yesterday's meeting was a good meeting, and I even gave him credit, because once he agreed to sit down, I'm not going to give their names yet, but 2 other mayors have reached out until I verify they're going to get to the table with me. Already reached out. So I think this starts a domino effect. What he did,
in Blue City?
Yes, sir.
Mayor Eric Adams' willingness to work with Tom Homan is showing other Democrats that it's okay to work with the incoming Trump administration, especially if you're really out to do the work for the American people. Because if Chicago isn't willing to remove criminals from their own streets, then Tom Homan will definitely have to do something about this. He hasn't been titled Border Czar for nothing. But just like he said, Eric Adams is one piece of the puzzle that's stacking up these dominoes. So once the pieces start to fall, we should hopefully see more elected officials do what's best for their constituents. And of course, I'm aware that Mayor Eric Adams could be hitting multiple birds with one stone. In fact, he could be lining himself for re-election and a possible pardon from President-elect Donald Trump. And all he's got to do is work for the benefit of New Yorkers, something that Mayor Brandon Johnson just doesn't seem or want to do for Chicago. And Johnson's in a bad mood with his budget request being rejected multiple times. So here's the mayor suddenly walking out of the budget meeting as he gets heckled by the people of Chicago.
You are disgusting.
You disgrace.
It's embarrassing.
You're a coward. Mohawk. You disgrace. You Mohawk. Disgrace. Loser. You loser.
Byron Citro Lopez, your project is a scam. You moved the location of your last.
We want our money back.
Can somebody remind him that he works for the people, and just walking out on them really isn't showing us that you're here for any of us? Not the best look for a mayor who's trying to stand up for criminals. But here's what he said when he was asked about the possible changes coming to his city. Watch.
What specifically could he do to circumvent some of the sanctuary laws here, and what can you do as mayor to stop that?
Well, I mean, as far as his parameters, I mean, those are elements that I don't think are fully defined. I don't know if this is an actual, I don't really know what this position ultimately is. So, I'm not going to, try to prognosticate their authority. What I can say, though, is that we have a clear ordinance. This ordinance, which has been strengthened over time, but its origination is from Mayor Harold Washington, who understood that local law enforcement cooperating with ICE is not just simply about not cooperating. It's requiring local law enforcement to behave as federal agents. That is not how we engender confidence in policing in our communities. And furthermore, I just want to be very clear about this. The incoming administration's threat around immigration is dangerous and irresponsible. And this administration is threatening our economy. The proposal that he has on these tariffs, there are times when my budget director and I look at each other like, boy, when this budget process is over, we have to start having a conversation about the ramifications of of tariffs that could have a tremendous detrimental impact on our local economy.
So he goes on a rant here, but just to confirm, no, he didn't answer the question at all. He should probably take lessons from President-elect Trump because he's a guy who knows how to handle a press conference. Now, speaking of which, he did his first interview as president-elect with NBC News, shocking many since NBC mostly leans to the left. Now, I covered this in a previous live stream, guys, where Trump absolutely destroys the narrative from the liberal mainstream media. Make sure you guys check that video out right after this one. As always, thank you so much for hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Check out our previous videos, and we'll see you guys on the next one.